Did you really expect that I would throw my daughter into your arms?
No. I had an idea you didn't like me.
What gave you that idea?
The fact that I'm poor.
Well, that has a harsh sound, but it's about the truth. And so you are in a category from which not to choose a son-in-law.
Richard Chamberlain, welcome to Off Ramp.
Thanks. Great to be here.
Tell me about the role of Dr. Sloper in The Heiress.
Well, I try not to talk too much about him because I'd like the audience to discover him in the play. But he's a very wealthy doctor, and very good doctor, in New York in about 1850, and has a daughter who is a little problematic for him. It's a sort of family drama, I guess you'd call it.
A role originated, I understand, 1947. Basil Rathbone, he got a Tony nomination.
Yes, Basil Rathbone. Well, that great face, but I saw a picture of him in it, and he had this terrible beard, which I thought looked awful, but a great face. And yes, he apparently was very good.
It's delightful that we're here at the Pasadena Playhouse 2 years ago. The existence of the Playhouse was in doubt.
And I've lived in L.A. all my life practically, well, except for England and New York and places like that, but I've spent extremely little time here. And I don't know why. And the first time in recent history that I have been in the theater was for the production of Art, which was sensational. Yeah. So I'm really, really happy to be here.
But the thing about local theater that everybody says they love is that you have to go to it. I think people in general have an idea that, I like the idea that there's a theater there.
Well, I intend to support local theater much more.
I think you think I'm going after you for not showing up at the theater.
No. I admit that I've been remiss and want to get more involved.
I heard you say people were laughing in one of the previews. Does that worry you?
Our very first preview, the audience laughed at everything. And it was a full audience, and I don't know who they were or why, but it really worried me because I thought, oh my God, what are we doing wrong? This is a serious play. And even the very serious moments were getting laughter. I couldn't figure it out. But last night, that was our first preview. Last night, the audience was a grown-up, wonderful audience. They were just terrific. They got the jokes and they laughed at the jokes, but they didn't laugh at the tears.
To be a man on your terms is to be no priest, and I have chosen to be a priest.
With the free will God has given us, and with that same free will, I have chosen to destroy you, priest. Oh, I'll go to hell for it, of course, but it'll be nothing to the hell I'm planning for you.
Do you ever have nightmares of Barbara Stanwyck? So scary, so intense in The Thornbirds.
But heartfelt. I empathized with her enormously in that because she was so in love with Ralph and couldn't have him. And consequently, screwed him. I mean, really messed up his life, something awful. But Stanwyck, I couldn't possibly have a nightmare about her because I thought she was so terrific.
Well, speaking of disappointing Barbara Stanwyck, my husband had a huge crush on you, and it was between you and Harry Hamlin. And when I came out back in, 20 years ago or so, I was only a regional heartthrob. I was not like a worldwide heartthrob. Yes. So I'm glad I did it then, and I found life much easier afterwards. Do you wish you'd have come out maybe, 10 years earlier? Done it a little bit earlier?
No, because growing up gay in the 30s, 40s, and 50s is not an option. It's just, actually, I can't think of anything worse. But coming out, if you're still full of fear and doubt, coming out doesn't do anybody any good. I didn't write about it in that book until I was really free of all the illusions about gay-straight. Gay-straight doesn't tell you anything about anybody. Straight doesn't mean somebody's a good guy. It's just a benign fact that is actually not very interesting. After all the stuff that goes, all the drama that has surrounded gayness in the past and in the present in America, it's an absurdly simple and benign fact. And to realize that after being so afraid for so many years is enormously freeing. It's just really wonderful.
You're bursting the bubble for all the homophobes who think that we lead these incredibly exotic lives that they can't have.
Well, of course we do. My life is amazingly dull.
You're wearing huge sideburns for this role, and they're your own. What do you think about that?
I kind of like them. It gives me a whole different sort of persona. The facial hair, we forget that in 1850, men's facial and head hair were quite extravagant, sometimes bizarre, but it was sort of every day for then.
Are those mutton chops?
It's kind of mutton chops. I think they're mutton chops.
A lot of the hipster guys are wearing beards now, you know.
Is that right? You mean I've become hip in my old age?
Yes.
How fabulous. Cool, man. I feel so cool.
Thank you so much for joining us on Off Ramp.
My pleasure.